One of the best to ever do it in an Ole Miss uniform, Dexter McCluster, a 2009 All-American for the Rebels, 3,600 yards, 23 total touchdowns all time for Ole Miss football, a second-round pick of the Kansas City Chiefs in 2010. And I'm going to go ahead and crown it, Brandon. Best background we've gotten on these interviews so far. Look at all that. Look at all that memorabilia he's got.
Hey, I was just joking with you guys earlier. Next time I'll show you the whole kit and caboodle, but this time we're gonna keep it limited right now.
Dexter's
man, thanks for having me on here, man.
Of course. Post-football Dexter McCluster. Now, what's going on in the life of Dexter McCluster?
In the life of Dexter, man, I'm living, man. I'm enjoying my family, enjoying my kids. I have 4 daughters, like we talked about before. I have my own training business here in Tennessee, McCluster Fit. Check it out, McClusterFit.com, man, if you ever want to, get a little session in, man. So I'm just pouring myself into the community, man, the youth, as well as, the adults that want to be fit, just the big brother that I want to be, just that mentorship. I'm just taking advantage of everything that I'm able to take advantage of, man.
And he's TikTok famous. Every time I get on TikTok,
I'm working out, I'm doing something.
Yeah, I was gonna say every time I get on, you pop up every single time.
Yes, I'm gonna keep it flooding, man.
That's for all of our Nashville reps, the plug for McCluster Fit. Make sure you go check it out.
Yeah.
So as you've moved into this phase of your life post football, when you reflect on what you've done in Oxford, what you've done in your pro career, what's the biggest thing you think you've been able to take away from the game of football?
Man, just playing the game for so long, you're around a brotherhood, from Pop Warner football all the way up to the NFL. So I think one thing I learned how to be that leader, more so to know how to lead, to know how to be a good person first and foremost, But man, I learned that, man, the game is only a short amount of time of your lifespan, man. So enjoy it while you can. Do everything you can, save as much as you can, man. But enjoy every single moment. And now I think, I'm able now on the other side of the fence to enjoy the moment a little more because I know I poured everything I had into football. And now that's why life after it, man, is pouring back into me. So I'm just keeping this thing going.
Well, in that same vein, it's been over a decade since you wore the red and blue.
Crazy.
Fan favorite, part of one of the most electric seasons maybe in football, Ole Miss football history. When you sit back and think about it, how special was your time in Oxford?
Yeah, you really don't realize how special it is or it was until, you're no longer there and you're on the other side of things looking at it. But man, I just, everybody questioned my decision to come to Ole Miss. Man, you want to go to Mississippi? You're a Florida boy, man. You want to go all the way? Yeah. And I think that was honestly the best decision I made, for myself in my career, man. Bunch of great people in Oxford. When they support you, they support you. And I've always tried to show that same love to them. But on the field, man, I was just out there playing for the love of it, playing for my teammates, the coaches, the fans. But now that I can sit down and kind of turn it on and watch it, it's like, man, I was doing some special things out there, man. It's humbling. It's humbling, man. It's a good feeling.
Speaking about sitting back and watching it, you were in town for LSU. You said you're watching more football than you've got to watch when you're in your playing days.
Right.
What's it like for you to see the energy around the program? You were, like I said, here for LSU. You saw a big performance there, and how do you think Dexter McCluster would fit into this current Ole Miss offense?
Oh man, I'm always moving and grooving, right? They can put me at the running back. They can put me at the slot. Hey, Matt Corral, let me give you a break real fast. Get a little wild rubber going real quick.
Sir.
I think it'll be cool, man. It would have much faster pace. When I was there, we're in that I formation. We're outside zone and maybe downhill. And you wouldn't think about that downhill runner myself, but I love it. Going down the middle. But to answer your question, going back to the energy around it, I was ready to play a game literally, man. In the tunnel, they got the lights going on, the lights flashing. I think I might have seen some smoke. I'm not even sure. I think I seen Chucky Mullen's head turn around and wink at me one time. I don't know, man. It's just cool, man, to see how much it's grown, man, to see that student section, to see all the added additions on the stadium, man. It's fulfilling. It's fulfilling, most definitely.
Let's take it back to high school from Largo, Florida.
Shout out Largo, baby.
Largo, that's right.
Obviously, Largo.
That's right. Not Key Largo, just Largo.
Right. Yes,
and obviously you had a lot of opportunities out there. What was the Ole Miss pitch? What made you decide to choose Ole Miss over another program? As you said, Florida boy, people probably looked at you sideways a little bit when you told them, but what was the Ole Miss, what was the feel? What was the reason that you said, okay, this is the right place for me?
So I'll start off by doing my best impression. and then I'll explain why so, right? Hey, how's Mama and Papa doing? I think you might know who that is, right? We just beat those guys, shout out to Coach O, man. But, I was committed to South Florida in Tampa, had just had my firstborn, so I wanted to, I'm 17 years old, want to stay home, stay close to home, and just be in my comfort zone and be around, right? And so I shut everybody out, would stop answering calls. I was going to South Florida, right in Tampa, 45 minutes from my house, right? And Ed Ogeron and Hugh Freeze, actually, they spoke with me. They came down and was like, hey, listen, can we just come sit in the living room? If you don't like us, then we're done. We don't have to talk to us anymore. So they came in there, and I kid you not, it felt like I wanted to play a football game in the living room that day. I'm an energy person, right? So right. Coach O comes in there with that raspy voice, something I've never seen, my family has never seen. So he had us pumped up, had me standing up, talking about Reggie Bush, throwing pillows in the living room, almost like that movie type of situation. And his energy made me want to go, let me see what Ole Miss is about. And when I flew in, it was my first time flying, so I was terrified the whole way there. My dad was laughing at me the whole time. So we get to Memphis, get to Oxford, and it was a total culture shock, man. It was everything around me. It was some great people. The energy felt right. I even Jason Cook, man, who was a fullback there at Ole Miss before me. He was my host, man, and he was just a very humble person. So, I mean, when I got back on the plane, I told my dad, I said, Dad, I know where I want to go. He was like, where? I said, Ole Miss. And he was like, why? I said, it just feels right. And he was behind me ever since. And the rest is, I guess you could say, history.
Nice. Well, I have a ton of favorite moments from Dexter McCluster. One we're going to talk about a little bit here, but the Tennessee game is certainly up there for me just because my brother went to Tennessee and we have like kind of a family sibling rivalry between the two when we get together. We played them this year for the second time since your big game there. But my question is more of a general question of, do you have a favorite play or a favorite game as it relates to a memory of being here?
Yeah, I guess I'll talk about two of them. The first one was my freshman year. We played Memphis in Oxford, first game I ever played. Just turned 18 a couple months before that, so I'm kind of feeling myself. But again, I'm nervous. I would like to say my swag was at a 0. Yeah. So you can tell I'm just out there playing the game for the love of it, right? So they call it the McCluster Fluster now. I sneak.
We're gonna ask you about that.
And trick play, they go one way, I hide. By the time they see me, I'm already downfield. It's over with, right? So that was a great moment, and I laugh at myself and like, man, I wish I can have that moment back, because when I'm celebrating in the end zone, I jumped up to give one of my guys a chest bump, and if you go back and watch it, when I landed, I fell down on my butt, and they helped me up, and I kept the energy going. But I wish I could have that back, because my swag was on 0. I was just happy to get in the end zone, right? So I guess my favorite moment, the Tennessee game. That day I just woke up, and I've never been a vocal person. I am more so now, but never been that vocal leader. I'll go out there and show you, I'm going to give you everything I got. I'm going to fight for you, right? So that morning I said, Coach, Houston, I want to talk to the team. And he was like, all right, that's cool. So I got up and I was talking to the team about, what we should do, what we want to do. I'm going to run as hard as I can. I want you guys to have to carry me off the field. And when I was saying that, I believed that, but I didn't believe it to a degree that I was going to go out there that day and that was going to happen, 4 touchdowns and however many yards it was. But it was just a great moment to where I could sit back and be like, wow, like I really spoke that into existence, and I had the right cast around me to make things happen.
You feel like there's a moment as a player, you talked about like 0 swag as a freshman with Memphis and filling that out, figuring that out. Yeah. But then it seemed like that Tennessee game was, okay, Dexter McCluster's here. Now you know his name.
Yeah.
Is there a moment in your mind like that snaps as a player where you go, okay, like this is comfortable to a level now where I know that I'm talented. I know that I'm good. Is there a moment that kind of hits that snaps, or is it just a progression over years?
Yeah, I guess it's different for everybody else, from person to person. But speaking on myself, to be honest, the reason I came to Ole Miss because they said, hey, we already have our running back in Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. We have a running back, but you have a chance to come and compete as a freshman, as a receiver. So I already knew within myself, I had the belief that I can go in there, I can compete. I believed I was that good already. So that's always been my mindset. But again, it's different with, each player, each person, right? But upon getting there, I worked my butt off, and it's like, I just knew but I just needed the right opportunity to show. It had spurts here and there. It's my freshman year, my sophomore year, but the game I think I really arrived within myself was, I think we were in South Carolina. We were getting beat pretty bad. They put me at running back the last 5 minutes of the game, and I was tearing it up. I made it a point, when I get that opportunity, I'm gonna fight for every yard. And that was that moment. After that game, I talked to my dad. I said, Dad, I think they saw what I can do. And then the next week, Houston Nutt came to me and said, we got Arkansas. That's his alma mater. He said, Deuce, I'm gonna get you the ball. And after that, the rest is just history. So I guess that 20 year. Yeah.
Let's dive into that Tennessee game a little bit more, because 282 all-purpose yards is nothing to laugh at, whatever you want to say idiom-wise on that one. But I have to ask if you've ever talked to Lane Kiffin about that one, now that he is the Rebels head coach, because he was not having a good time that day, Dexter.
Yeah, I don't think anybody on that side was having a good time. But again, it was just one of those games where everything just went the way it was supposed to go. Every play for myself, about 90% of the time worked out just how we practiced it, right? Of course, not the moves, not the cuts, the Houdini live thing. That's my favorite quote, when the guy said, Houdini lives. It's like, it was a pretty good and dope moment for myself. But go back to the question. I started rambling. I apologize.
Have you talked to Lane Kiffin about it? Because obviously, like,
so I haven't talked to Lane at all. I was at the game. It was an emotional moment. We're in the locker room. I just didn't want to be that guy to kind of, jump in. So I kind of stood back and kind of analyzed it, man. But he looked like he has a situation under control, man. And I know once we do sit down and talk, face to face, we're definitely going to talk about it, reminisce. And I would like to know what he thought about that game.
Nothing positive. He probably wishes you were wearing orange and white. That's what I bet you he wishes.
And listen, I live in Tennessee now, right? So it's all country out here, right? So all of my friends that older or younger, wherever we are, that game always comes up, and they say, man, you know what? I hated you for so long, but for that game, but now that I know you now, man, I love you, man. I see. So it's one of those love-hate relationships. When they see me, they always got to mention that game and talk about their feelings about it.
Another favorite Rebel fans moment has to be the upset of number 9 LSU, where you threw a touchdown pass. Dex, I know it's run DMC, but that was throw DMC that day.
Right.
Which Rebel quarterback was giving you passing lessons on the side?
Nobody. They might have said something here and there, but just coaches said, hey, man, we just want to make sure the defense sucks up on you. If they come up, you can punt the ball and get it to them, man. So before that, I don't know if you guys know if they even have this stat anywhere, but I know. I was like, I was 1 for about 6 in the Wild Rebel on passing. I had like 1 or 2 interceptions. By the way, when I threw an interception, I made sure I was the one to make the tackle. So I tried my best to do that, right? So I went like 0 for forever. So that throw right there means a lot to me, because that was the first one out of every single pass attempt I ever attempted in college that was successful. And it came at the right moment. Night game, LSU primetime, man. Shay High, shout out to you, brother.
And then the other thing that you're known for at this moment too is your performance in the Cotton Bowl. 2-time MVP of the Cotton Bowl. You were named to the Cotton Bowl Hall of Fame here recently. So in wins over Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, what did you enjoy the most about playing on the big stage?
Yeah, since we're talking about the Cotton Bowl, I'm just going to turn this around right there. Cotton Bowl emblem right there,
Nice, there you go.
So there we go. But so playing those bowl games, back-to-back Cotton Bowls since Doak Walker. I'm not sure if anybody knows that. He was a great running back. I think he played at SMU back in 1949 or 50, something like that. That's when he did it. So it's been that long since somebody has done that, and I feel honored, I feel proud that this little guy that everybody said was too small to play SEC, that everybody said would never make it, this guy right here is the same guy that was able to accomplish everything that a lot of people said I couldn't do. And I think over time, it's been my fuel. It's been a part of my DNA. Like, you don't believe in me? Watch this. And now I'm getting a chance to show people who I am outside of the game. But backtracking back to it, it's just an awesome opportunity that big stage is not big at all for me anymore, because now I pride myself on nothing being too big for me. If I can't do it one time, I guarantee I'm gonna work until I can do it. So, I mean, the big stage is a great opportunity to show what you're about, and I'm always for that.
So you played with some awesome teammates, some, people that we remember, that Rebel fans will remember for forever. Who are some guys that you kind of still keep up with, and just maybe some memories of those guys?
Is for my former teammates, you mean?
Yeah, former teammates, yeah.
Yeah, man, I keep up with a lot of those guys, pretty much everybody. Mike Wallace, Shea Hodge, Kendrick Lewis, John Jerry, I can't name them all right now. Patrick Willis. So we all still communicate, talk to each other. But since I said P. Willie last, I don't know if I next time you see him, ask him if you remember this. But I remember this. We were in the IPF. I was a rookie, and I was going out for a pass, and I caught it. And he gave me a little nudge, and he was like, "Hey, I could have did it to you." But his nudge to me at that moment, I was like, man, this dude, he can kill me right now, right? So that moment right there, he always called me Baby Hester from the moment he saw me. Then even sometimes when he sees me, he'll be like, what's up, Hester? Like joking around. And, Hester's a guy that I'll say I admired him, man, just to type of player that he was, right? And that he is, and Hall of Famer, man. I think he's on the ballot now, I believe, or coming up or something like that. But, P. Willie, man, he gave me my first welcome to the NFL, but he looked out for the youngin, man. So shout out to P. Dub for not knocking me out, because I might not be in this position today.
Well, I do want to ask you about another one of your former teammates here at Ole Miss, and your backfield running mate, Brandon Bolden, who's still kicking in the NFL. I mean, he is still in the League Hall of Fame. Every time you look up, Brandon Bolden is still kicking.
Yes, sir. Shout out to B, man. Yeah, I was just looking at, he posted a highlight, I think on Instagram recently, man. I was looking like, man, that it goes to show, man, that, Ole Miss, we had so many weapons and we just couldn't use them all, but all of us had a chance to shine. And it's cool to see the longevity of those guys, still playing at a top level, still, outdoing some of those young boys, man. So proud of my guy, man. He's doing his thing. Yeah.
Let's talk about your NFL career. You got into that a little bit. Second round pick by the Chiefs. There's a time that I feel like you were an era too soon for running backs. I see guys like Alvin Kamara, Cordero Patterson, these versatile weapons. Do you feel like maybe you were in the league too early to where now you maybe be used a little differently?
You hit the nail right on the point, right? Because I'm sitting there without yelling. I'm sitting there screaming like, hello, this is what you have. Let's use it. The size thing is over with. Let's go. And the only person that I played, the only coach I played with, shout out to all the other coaches, but the only coach I played with that really saw that was Andy Reid, man. That guy, he knew what type of player he had and players he has around him, and he knows how to bring the best out of all of them. But like you're saying, like now the running backs, now how they're doing all this stuff, it's like, I've been doing that, right? But just the I don't know, the lack of opportunity to show it all. I don't know, the game's changing every day, man. Every year the game's changing, but yeah, I think now if I would have fell right into this, man, I mean, who knows? I might still be in the league, 12 years later, right? You know what I mean?
So on that note, you Kansas City, you got Tennessee, you got San Diego, you go to Toronto for the Canadian Football League, Massachusetts, you play in an indoor league. Where was the coolest place? And people have talked about this on this podcast, that they get to kind of experience a lot of different cities and a lot of different cultures. Where was the coolest place for you to maybe live and play football?
To live and play football, coolest place. I would definitely say California, San Diego. When I was down there, so everywhere I go, I'm a package deal. My kids and my wife come with me, right? So I go down, watch the lay of the land, set everything up. Everybody comes down. So it was just cool just to see the different cultures up there, man. Just being able to take them to Disneyland out there, for them to see, a different side of just what they see in Nashville or what they see in Florida or New Orleans, familiar territories for them. But I had a good time, and people said it never rains in California, but it rained a lot while I was down there. But the weather was great, and the beaches were great as well.
Were you surprised at the amount of military people there?
Yes, everywhere.
I know, right? It's everywhere.
Me and the wife, we had a two-bedroom condo, which was crazy high in California, right? It's outrageous, highway robbery, right? So we had that, but we had a little spot across the street, had the pool, almost like a little spa area, had a food, bar and grill, whatever. So every time I went, the place was just full of, was it Air Force?
Military. They have 2 or 3 bases there.
Yeah, everywhere.
Navy, Air Force, Army, they got them all there.
Yeah, for sure. So you run into them everywhere you go. Yeah.
I want to talk about the indoor football career that you had. I know it's a different beast. I worked in the Arena Football League for a few seasons, and those guys, they are absolutely playing for the love of the sport. It was something you said you were doing when you were just a freshman, and then you eventually got paid to do it, and then back to an indoor league. What was your experience playing with the Massachusetts Pirates? I'd love to know what it was like for you.
Man, before I say anything, man, shout out to the Massachusetts Pirates. Hey, Ward, I see y'all, man. They won the cup this year. They won the championship, man. Hope y'all can repeat it this year. Y'all had to wait till I leave to get it, man. I know.
Some more hardware.
I got a Super Bowl. I never seen a Pro Bowl. Never got a Super Bowl. At least I can get a arena football championship, right? But yeah, shout out to those guys. So going to it, talking about the love of the game. A lot of people ask, man, like, well, you played on the highest level. Why go back and do this and that? It's like, man, I love it. I have so much to give, right? And I took that as an opportunity to go down and just be that mentorship, learn something new, challenge myself, and just enjoy the love of the game without all the politics, without all the other unnecessary stuff. Man, I found myself, I didn't even care if I played, right? I just wanted to dance in the end zone, wanted to catch the ball off the wall and just cheer my teammates on, because when I first got in there, I didn't even know it was our head coach, but he was like, oh my gosh, oh, we got the legend. So he's just talking. I'm thinking, I don't know who anybody is at this time. And he was just kind of fanboying. Shout out to you, coach. I apologize if you're watching this, man, a little bit. But, man, again, it's the love of the game. 1 second, baby. Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize, y'all. But the love of the game, that's the majority of what these guys are doing, because some of those guys want to get to that same level. They want to get to the please. They want to get to I'm sorry, I apologize again. Got 40 kiddos. But yeah, so they're planning to get to the CFL. They're planning to get a shot in the XFL. They plan to get a shot, just somewhere, anywhere, right? So they're giving everything that they have. And for me to be there, to be on that level, they can pick my brain. I can be that mentor that I need to be towards them, man. And they saw that Dexter McCluster was just not a superstar. Dexter McCluster was a person that really cared and that really wanted to see everybody win.
I love that.
Awesome. Well, we hear the kids. So give us an update on the family. I know you got 4 girls. Give us a rundown, the roster of the kids and the wife. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, everybody's good. Me and the wife, 15 years strong, 5 years married.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
So we're homeowners here in Tennessee. 4 daughters. I have a sophomore in high school. I have a 7-year-old superstar dancer, a 5-year-old superstar dancer, and a 2-year-old phenomenon. We just don't know what she's going to do yet, but she's strong as an ox, right? You know what I mean? So everybody's doing good. My family back home is doing good. So, I mean, life is cool, man. I'm enjoying myself.
Well, they have a great trainer, McCluster Fit. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but named one of the most influential trainers of 2021.
Yes.
What does that mean to you? I know you're training some guys that are athletes. What does it mean to you to kind of give back in that form and just, tell us how you've been enjoying that part of now post, player, and now you're trying to give back to make these people better so that they can go on and live their dreams.
Yeah, I mean, just waking up to that honor. When I woke up that morning, I didn't think I was going to be on a list of saying, top 10 most influential, trainers in Tennessee, because again, I'm a Floridian, right? I just, started this training journey about 1.5 years ago, right? But I think what separates me is, of course, the NFL thing is good. I love to use that platform because that brings people in. That allows people to want to listen because they trust that what I'm going to say and the things that I can't do because it's proven, right? But it doesn't matter if you're 4 years old all the way to 60 years old, you're going to get everything out of me. I'm going to make sure I put you in the right situations to be successful. The rest is on you, man. But you're having so much fun with me. You're feeding off that energy. It's not a burden training with me, man. We have fun. We work hard. And it's just been a blessing, man, because I'm that type of guy sometimes I spread myself out thin because that's the type of guy that I am. But, being able to touch so many lives already here in Tennessee, not being here for long is amazing, man. So it just shows me that I'm on the right track, man. So I'm just keeping the faith, man, and staying who I am, staying humble. And it's got me this far. So, I mean, being yourself, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, will get you to wherever you want to go, wherever.
Well, I believe you'd get 110% out of Dexter as a trainer because we got 110% here during this interview. One of the most beloved Ole Miss football rebels of all time, Run DMC. Thank you so much for your time. This was truly a joy here this afternoon. Thank you, and I apologize for the kiddos cameo, but
no, you're good.
But they got to get their shine on every night.
That's part of it. That's part of it.
Yeah, I get it. But thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it, my man.
Absolutely.